Hello and welcome back to the Polish Protege. I am Stephanie and I am burnt. We had a baseball tournament this weekend. I did not appropriately use sunscreen. I didn't think I needed it. Bad on me. But I'm outside and I am going to be cleaning up and getting this bed taken care of. It's a little bit overrun after the weekend. And I kind of wanted to show what I'm going to do because I am going to prune tomatoes. So I'll show you how I prune tomatoes. And I'm just going to get things cleaned up. A big part of how I garden is high intensity, which means I plant things very close together. And to do that, you kind of have to take special care in making sure that you leave a lot of airflow room so you don't get diseases. And so sunlight can get into everything. So this is way too packed up. I got to thin this out. I'm going to show you how I do it. We're going to fix this little fancy guy and go from there. Okay, let's talk about my netting. I buy these nettings. I think they come maybe 25 foot long and they are about 5 foot high. I could just pull this down and put a new one up, but if I can get another year out of it, I'm going to get another year out of it. You're not going to see it, even if it's ugly. So what I have is I ordered this from M.I. Gardener. It's one of my favorite things to get from there, actually, and it is tomato wire, and it's elastic. I don't know if you can, it's elastic. I use this to tie the tomatoes. I think it's been another video, but I'm just going to use a little piece of this to tie this up and fix it. So let me do that real quick. All right, there you go. Is she perfect? No. Whoop. Will she work? Yes. And that's the point, right? She's functional. All right, so with the top fixed, I went through and anchored this a little bit more to this post. I had a couple things where it ripped. I just added a little bit. Now let's go ahead and look down here. In this bed, on both ends, I have got these beans. These are runner beans, and I love them. They make beautiful flowers. There's none out here yet. They're beautiful red flowers, and they make a big, thick bean that you can use for chili, things like that, a dry bean. They're gonna go up here. They're gonna get really big. They're either gonna run along the top of this and up the window, or I could put a string across here, and they would run across the string. I might do that, I'm not sure. But because I've got that one that can go that way, and I've got one right here that'll probably go this way. But in between, I have got tomatoes. So here is tomato plant number 1. Now, remember, these were really, actually, let's look at this tomato plant back here. It's straight. This one, I don't know if you can tell, she a little wonky. But this one is nice and straight. And you're gonna see, okay, let's get close. You're gonna see all these little bottom baby leaves. I'm gonna cut all those leaves off, okay? All the way up the plant, until I find the first flower. And actually, I might leave just a couple because the plant is smaller still. I want to give her enough leaves to gather sunlight and make her food. But then I'm going to go ahead and anywhere that there is a main trunk and a stem and a little leaf, and there's a guy in the middle, in the elbow we call it, I'm going to pluck that guy. Those are suckers. Like this is a sucker. So here's the main trunk, there's the leaf. This is a sucker. Those take energy away from the plant. Here's a big one up here. Ooh, hang on. Right here. Here's the main stem. Look, it's making flowers. That's the actual leaf. This is a sucker. Now, something you can do, hang on, let me cut this guy. I just do this with my fingers. You could take this guy, put it in water and root it, and make another tomato plant. This is especially helpful if you are growing somewhere, maybe with a longer growing season than Michigan, or if you lost some tomatoes, like if I had an empty spot right here and only one of these worked, I could cut these, put them in water, and plant them next to it. They'd be a little bit behind, but I'd still probably get tomatoes off them. I do not need more, obviously. So this is gonna go into my compost bucket. So this is the before. I'm gonna go through and clean and show you the after. And now this is the after. She looks like this. So you can see there's a lot more airspace, especially down the bottom where it's next to the soil. And you can get a lot of disease and things like that from water splashing here and splashing on leaves and things. So the cleaner I can keep this, the less likely I'm gonna get disease on my plant, and I'm gonna have better airflow through these leaves so I don't get disease there. So they look a little bit unhappy, especially the smaller ones, but as soon as they get sun tomorrow, they're gonna perk right back up. It also gives all this basil that I had in front room to breathe and grow. And I also had planted some sunflower seeds here and they have germinated. There's some there, and I saw a couple right here coming up. They weren't getting any sun either, so hopefully that lets everything here grow better. Now I just need to go down there and do it down there. That looks so crazy. Look at, nice and clean, crazy overgrown, nice and clean. All right, more to do. All right, so doing the second bed here, I found a situation I'm gonna show you. As a general rule, I single stem all my tomato plants because I grow what's called indeterminate tomatoes. There are two types of tomatoes for the most part. Indeterminate, which means they're gonna grow as long and as tall as you want them to. So if I put a giant 12-foot pole in here, fertilize it, take really good care of it, my season goes long enough, in theory, it could be 12 feet tall and continue to produce tomatoes all the way up. Determinate type tomatoes are like a bush type. They have a set amount of fruit. They're only going to produce that set amount of fruit. They need all their runners and their side shoots and all the different things to be fully productive, whereas an indeterminate does not. So to keep an indeterminate from going crazy, I single stem it. So let me show you the problem I have with this one. So typically when I come into the bottom of the plant, I'm going to have what's this. This is a main stem. There's a little leaf. I'm going to cut this off and I'm going to follow this one up. Now here's the problem guy. This guy right here has two pretty good stems. I could cut this one off. This is obviously the main leader, but this one looks pretty good. And the one that was next to him died. So I'm gonna prune this with two main leaders. And you can do this if you got the room. Sometimes I even let them do two. As they get a little bit bigger, I let one kind of grow a little bit longer. So I'm gonna prune this guy. I'm gonna leave this guy and I'm gonna prune this leaf off and I'm gonna let this guy do two stems. But for the general rule, I keep one main stem per indeterminate tomato. And here is the next day. So it is the following day. You can see all these leaves that were kind of bent over and a little scary looking yesterday have perked right up. The sunflower seeds have perked right up. Everybody is very happy. It is cottonwood season here in my area of Michigan. I've got a neighborhood cottonwood tree. It looks lovely. I'm sure you're gonna see it in future videos. And let's go look at these guys over here. These are the second ones that I pruned. Again, lots more space, good airflow, plenty of tomatoes gonna be growing on this without me worrying about tucking off some of those suckers and those branches that were getting in the way. We've got some pretty flowers. It'll be Tomato Susan before you know it. All right, guys, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.